Welcome back in the session of the collective bargaining, session number 2. So today in this session we are going to discuss about the three types of the collective bargaining, what are the prerequisites of the collective bargaining, how the collective bargaining actually works, and so on. So and the outcome of this session enables you to understand, enables you to have the proper clarity of this collective bargaining. As in the earlier session we had done that what is collective bargaining, what is collective, what is bargaining, and how it moves at different levels, plant level, industry level, national level, and what is actually the bipartite process. Now I am going to discuss with you that the three types of this contract are bipartite agreement, bipartite settlement, and so on. See, the bipartite agreement, basically it is classified in three categories. In India, the agreement which is totally voluntary for the purpose of the implementation. Number 2 is an agreement which is negotiated and settled primarily by the parties but registered before conciliator in the settlement. And the third one, basically, that is in case of the consent award, when the parties have the dispute pending before a tribunal but yet to negotiate a contract and recorded by the tribunal, right? So these are basically the types of the contracts. Okay, so if I talk about that, what are the prerequisites? So after this, it is very important to understand that what are the prerequisites of the collective bargaining, the essentials of the collective bargaining. So definitely the essentials of the collective bargaining is the careful thought and the selection of the negotiating team, that is primitive, definitely, and it should have a mixed composition which includes the production, finance, industrial relation expert, and it is headed by a person, preferably a personnel and the industrial relations specialist of sufficient seniority and has an adequate brief to commit the enterprise and take the decisions. So without frequent referrals to the top management. For example, I can give you the example. For example, many organizations, they have the vice president, okay, so, or the director personnel. Now they are actually heading the team. They are heading the team with a brief to commit the organization up a certain amount which can be spread out depending upon the negotiation situation. So it is based on union demand, right? And number 2 prerequisites is that it is necessary for the management to recognize union bargain in a good faith, okay, in a unionized situation. If I talk about the third one, that third one is basically it put actually pressure on the union, formulate the plans and demands in a systematic manner. The third one is the necessity of having the open mind, listen them, appreciate each other concern, understand their views, and provide the flexibility. The another one is the need to study, the adequate framework to do, homework to do, and demand presented those demands while gathering your proper data on the wages and the welfare benefits. Another one is the trade unions should encourage the democracy, the union democracy, periodic consultations with the rank and the file members. Another one is they should equally be concerned with both quantity of the work agreed upon and along with the quality of the work. And along with this, that what is this, that the need is the strikes and the lockouts, they should be restored in an ultimate analysis, and definitely the periodical decisions should be there so that such kind of the problems will never ever happen, never ever arise in future. Okay, so this is very important to understand. All these points are very important. Okay, so now in these cases it is very important. Now if I talk about this, basically this is your collective bargaining. Now if I talk about the labor welfare and the social security, okay, so because if I talk about that, what are the emerging trends of the collective bargaining? So the emerging trends are definitely for the collective bargaining is to traditionally settle the collective bargaining agreement about the wages, about the bonus, tradition, and the technologically advancements are also very important to understand, right? And on those basis only we can solve our problems, we can solve the problems and we can get the solution also, right? So now in this session, instead of closing the session, I am going to take up the another point of the social security aspect. What are the social security and the welfare things? They are provided by the industry or by the management, and if not provided, then what are these as per the Indian labor law, right? And as per that, and what are the actually the standards of your ILO? Okay, so these are actually in our course also and very important also. The need is to discuss them a bit, right? So in this, if I talk about your ILO, that is the International Labor Organization, the labor organization which is known for, which is a symbol for social justice, universal peace, humanity, dignity, right? So for all these, so if it is born, and it was born as a result of peace convened at the end of the World War I, and basically the objective of this ILO was to provide the peace treaty of the Versailles in 1919, and after that the concept was to understand the condition of the labor, and where the unjust hardships were there, the need is to cover up those conditions, promote the worldwide respect, freedom, dignity. So this is your labor organization. If I talk about briefly, let you know about the structure of the labor organization. So this labor organization consists of the three categories, the three systems: your International Labor Conference, governing body, International Labor Force Office, right? And here if I talk about the members in your ILO, which you had already learned, but still the need is to let you know, where it initiated in 1945. So original member of the UN can be the member of the ILO, accepting the obligations of the constitution. Okay, so anytime they can withdraw the membership, but the notice need to take the 2 years from the date of the receipt by the director journal. Okay, so basically their aspect is labor is not a commodity, number one. Number two, freedom of expression is there. Poverty anywhere constitute a danger to the prosperity everywhere. Okay, so on these basis, and the child welfare and the many other things are there, but those are the three bases. On the basis of that, the labor ILO organization founded, right? So those are the basic strong bases. Okay, I hope I am able to let you clear about bit about the ILO. Okay, so now after that we have the system of the Social Security Convention, and in this Social Security Convention, which is purely related to the provision of the social security to the labor who is working at the industry, right? So it is very important, and which deals with the various laws, which deals with the law to provide the benefit to the family, provide the benefit at the time of the sickness, provide the family benefit, provide the unemployment benefit and the survivor benefit. So various laws generated on the basis of the report, on the basis of which report? The report of labor report. After having a proper investigation, after having a proper research, the report was initiated, and on the basis of that it was considered that the need is to provide certain safety measures to the workers, so that they feel happy, they feel safe while working at a workplace. So that's why these are the various safety measures which were initiated. Okay.